Good morning, David.
Christopher.
Top of his head.
I can see the snow has reached Loders, Chris.
Oh, it's snowing outside at the moment. I've just had a look out the window.
Have you? Well, we're, of course, farther north, and it hasn't quite reached us in that proportion yet up here.
Well, it's
you like my background?
down.
That's the snow from 3 years ago in Loders.
Oh, don't let on, Chris, please. We don't get the viewer to think it's happening now.
It's like the land of Narnia. It's 3 years ago and it's not changed since.
And I'm told that Chris hides in a cupboard every day, so we're okay.
I'll walk in the wardrobe and out the back door.
You could be like Mr. Tumnus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that book of the child. It was fantastic.
Great book.
I still like it now. I think it's a wonderful story, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I love anything to do with C.S. Lewis. He was such a special person.
Very special, yeah.
My training incumbent, he was one of his lecturers when he was at Oxford in the 50s.
Wow. Gosh, that is impressive.
Yeah. He said he was a bit of a miserable old git at times.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. But
well, brilliant. People say that about us as well, David.
I was going on to say that brilliant brains are often like that, so I've taken myself out to that one, Chris. There we are, yes. So all is well in Bridport, I presume?
Yes, all is well. And I had to start, two of our Advent groups have had to start early because we're trying to fit it all in because it's the way Advent falls is, So I had an Advent group last night across the road at the pub at the Woodman, which was great.
It went down well?
It did go well. We because it's a small pub and quite noisy, we had to move into the back, and it was like being in church because we went out of the warmth of the main pub into a very cool corridor, and one of the main places we had to sit was a huge orange pew. So I said to them, gosh, it is just like coming back to church, really. But
of course, you could warm yourself up with the alternative spirit on offer at the Woodman.
Yes, we did. We all indulged in that, which was great. So it was good. So our landlord, Darren, is great and been very hospitable. So we are very thankful to him.
Ah, well done, Darren. Well done, the Woodman. Yet again, I'm told it's one of the best pubs in Bridport. So well done, Darren. If you ever contemplated watching this, well, there we are.
This is what we have to say. Other drinking establishments are also available.
Exactly.
Many drinking establishments in Bridport.
Yeah, and in Loders. Chris is just telling me about his pub quiz exploits.
Oh.
I'm a very disappointed second.
Did you? Well, you know what the Americans say, don't you, Chris? Second is loser.
Yeah, that's what Brian always says. He says, First is first, second is nowhere.
Yeah, right. Americans
very
always
brutal.
Yeah, second to lose, I said the Americans. So there we are. Well, we've got our own.
We've got a bottle of wine.
Yay!
Well, this was a special question, like what is the length of a parrot's tail, something like that,
Well, I did have to hold my tongue because there was a question. When was the Church of England founded?
Oh.
And I thought and our table agreed. Actually, that's probably a whole essay rather than a single date.
Mm.
But we did go for the answer that they thought they had,
which is what?
All about Henry VIII and
Henry VIII.
Yeah. And what was the date you gave, Chris?
Well, we just had Henry VIII wanting to get divorced.
Oh, I see. I thought you had to actually give an actual...
We didn't need the actual date. We just needed the event that caused it.
Oh, I see.
Which, of course, Debs and I know happened to be the 3rd of June, 1663 or something like that.
Well, bear in mind he died 1602. I think it might have been earlier than that.
Ah, well, he hadn't signed the paper, so it took a few more years to get done,
He died before 1602. I think he died quite a bit
15, something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to get my Kings and Queens book down, which I keep on the bookshelf.
Yeah, I think you need to tell us that next week.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so we've also got an Advent course starting. Joey's masterminding it for us, which is very good. For the next 2 Mondays, 12 to 1, or you can join Gin Church online because that'll be good on a Thursday evening for an hour. And we're going through those questions that were in that document about making Jesus known.
Yeah, very good.
So we thought we'd do that because we weren't as organised as you this year in getting books and things sorted out. So we've gone for that instead. Right. Do you think we should have a pause? Because Debs has got to go to Allington, which is all of 40 yards away from her house, I think.
It's quite much further than that.
140 then, Debs. So we go for that.
So the gospel is written in Mark chapter 13, beginning to read at verse 24. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of the heavens. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. It is like a man going on a journey when he leaves home and puts his slaves in charge, each with his work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on watch. Therefore, keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening, or at midnight, or at cockcrow, or at dawn, or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you all is, keep awake.
Keep awake. Be prepared.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I always get really confused from that verse about the fig tree, because I got a fig tree in the corner of my garden, and it comes out to leaf, and it has figs that half grow and then fall off. They never ripen, and I don't know summer is near because my fig tree started to sprout leaves, because that doesn't seem to work like that.
That's because you live in Narnia.
Right. Well, it is winter all the year round, I seem to remember.
We
Well,
have
certainly winter
tornadoes.
today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really snowing here.
I'm really glad that I'm sat here doing Rev Chat because Julia's out walking the dog.
Oh.
There we are. Yeah, I mean, I was at the school yesterday. I love going to Mapperton School, and I always have done all the years I've done assemblies up there. And because the children are so, that's so natural and naive, aren't they? When you ask them a question, you know almost before you ask it what they're going to say generally. And Joe and I have been doing a course on the Lord's Prayer. We do it every 3 years, so they by the time they leave, all of them at least can say it, which is great. And we were rounding that up, but we were also getting ready for next week, which is about Advent and preparing. And I asked a question: does anybody know what Advent is all about? And one boy towards the back, he's a church goer. I think they go to the evangelical church in North Perrott or somewhere. He put his hand up, and he said it's about getting ready for Jesus to come. I thought, oh, that's very good. and with a little girl at the very, very front got her hand up. And I always dread asking the young ones any question, because anything can happen, can't it?
And it usually does.
It does. And so I looked at this little girl, the head teacher, who always sits in with us when we're doing assembly, put his head in his hands and kind of shook his head at me. But I thought, no, I can't ignore her. So I said to her, "What do you think Advent is about?" And she said, "Father Christmas is going to come." And I said to her, "You're probably not too wrong there. It's all about just waiting and being and preparing, isn't it?" And if you're excited about Father Christmas coming in the same way that our friend at the back is excited about Jesus coming, then we're all on the same track, aren't we? What else do you say, really, to tiny ones? It is about getting ready, isn't it?
I was talking about Christmas yesterday in assembly, and I don't know why it got onto the three wise men, and so I asked them how many wise men there were, and of course the little ones all said three, and all the bigger ones at the back said we don't know. So I could tell which ones had been to a school assembly before, or a school assembly at Christmas that I'd done from. So I thought, oh, actually they've remembered what I said last year, because it was just the new ones that didn't remember.
Yeah, I thought they were going to say, "Are there any wise men?" That's what I thought you were going to come out with.
They did call them kings, and I did get told in one assembly that you have elephants as part of the nativity, because that's part of their nativity play this year.
Yeah,
but that's still getting them prepared for what's happening at Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember. When I was a kid up in Uttoxeter, there was a private school, a Woodard Foundation school, just up the road in Roster, which is where the JCB factory is based. And occasionally we get invited to go there and do assembly. And of course, they're all super slick up there. And I asked them this question at Advent: what does Advent mean? And one little girl, well, not so little, because they were in a 3-tier system, so they were the middle-aged group. And one girl put her hand up and I asked her, and she said he thought about adventure. And I've always cottoned on to that, because I think that's absolutely true. Advent itself is an adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we start to work.
Put that in my sermon on Sunday.
Are you?
Yeah, I like that. Advent and adventure.
Yeah.
Adventure.
You must credit me and the young girl at the school in Roster, of course, because it was their idea.
How do you spell Roster?
Roster. Just look up JCB. The factory is there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think for me, my favourite part of the whole of the church year is Advent. And this idea of stopping and watching and waiting and preparing. And I was also at the senior school for 2 days. I have to go to the senior school because they can't get them all in. You can't even go twice in 2 days to get them all in. And we were talking about this idea of waiting and watching and just stopping. And I said to them, and to the teachers who were all there, because they all sit in at the senior school for crowd control, really. And I said, do you think it's possible each morning when you first get to school that you just spend 5 minutes just to stop and to be quiet and to watch and to wait and to prepare yourselves? And I think there's something very important about just sitting. And I often also think of that wonderful passage in Matthew's Gospel where it says, Mary pondered all these things in her heart. There's something very special for me about I think I like Advent so much. And that reading about be aware, you never know what time the Lord's going to come or when the Lord's going to come. But be ready.
But we do, because he's going to come on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we do now. That's very true. But, I think a bit...
it does make me think about Advent, the Advent service of light, and that, this reading about staying awake, because at the end of the Advent service of light, we use that reading from Thessalonians as well. about be sober, you know, and I mean, I think something that we've got in the church through liturgy is being able to help people embody and enact some of these big ideas. And that I love Advent, the Advent service of light, when everything's plunged into darkness, and for a few seconds, you know, everyone's waiting, because I mean, the first time I did that as a curate, I dropped the matches, and the light didn't go on for a bit longer than it should have done. But actually, you know, everyone was kind of holding their breath, because not just because it had gone a bit wrong, but actually until the light was you know, lit, and the Paschal candle was lit and the light was shed, we couldn't do anything because no one could see anything and they couldn't move. And I think using light and dark, you know, it's primal, isn't it? But really gets to the heart of what this waiting is, and waiting for the light. And you know, lots of people, even if they don't come to church, they really understand that, don't they? Because people lighting candles, I mean, I know I've said it before, but our votive stand in St. Mary's, it's always people coming in and lighting a candle, because it's a way you don't have to make the words, but you can make an action which says something about what's going on in you and your concerns. So I think it's really special, really evocative. Yeah.
Have you ever been to the darkness to light service in the cathedral?
Yeah, I have
It's
once.
quite stunning, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And that's no
When is
wonder
it, David?
they've got three, I think.
This weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, because it's so packed that they do it 3 times over.
Excuse me, twice at one time, because I remember I used to get invited to the canon. You know, you could apply for tickets, but we haven't had that invite for a few years because so many people want to go.
Yeah. I did. I went one year, and it is amazing. And because they do that delayed camera thing, you could see, you know, they have that picture of where the lights are going.
You can watch it online, Chris, if you get a chance. I think they broadcast it live. And literally, the cathedral starts in darkness. They light just one candle up on the balcony, which we very rarely look at, which is at the far west end above the west end door. And one candle is lit and is passed around. And in the hour that the service of the readings and the hymns are being sung, they just light candle after candle, and eventually the whole of the cathedral is just lit. It's quite stunning. Dear viewer, watch it if you get. Just go into the cathedral's site, and you'll find their YouTube channel. It's superb.
But it's as effective in a little country church if you do it, because the place, you know, and you know that church, but you're plunged into darkness, and then a light comes, and then the light is shared. It's beyond words, and that's why we do things like that in church, isn't it? Because we can't say it all with words, but sometimes the experience informs us in a very deep way. So yeah, it's very special. Yeah.
So it is an adventure. It is about expectation. It is about being patient and waiting. And if we're patient and we're waiting, the adventure leads us into light from darkness. What about that? There's your sermon, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it doesn't have to be passive waiting. It has to be active waiting.
It has to be active, because that's absolutely right.
Something else for my sermon. Thank you, Deb. I'll give you credit as well.
Gosh, I'm just looking out of my window, and the snow is not really sticking, but it's coming down.
Heavy, isn't it?
Well, has it reached Loders, Chris?
Oh, it's snowing. Can't you see the tree?
No, it's Beaminster, just the odd flit at the moment, so we're saved. But there we are.
Oh,
Anyway, so be aware, keep alert.
So, that's it. Keep alert.
Yeah.
Keep alert. And tomorrow, dear viewer, if you're around Beaminster, watch out for the Nativity Festival that's taking place in Beaminster. We're helping out our friends from the town council who really can't afford to put on all their festivities that they've done in the past, because we know that they're cash strapped, really are, like a lot of parish and town councils. And so we're going to be having at 6 o'clock from the square, a torchlit procession of nativity figures down to the church where the Nativity Festival will be opened. And Joe, my good friend and former part of this Rev Chat, has been contacted by ITV Local News.
Oh.
Because they're looking to try and do something about these poor places where we can't have the big festival lighting up anymore, and things that are different taking place, and they're coming down to Beaminster with their cameras to be part of it and to film it. I think that'd be good.
Great, really good. It's a really excellent idea.
Yeah, well, it came out of 2 or 3 things really. The idea we couldn't compete with Bridport's Christmas tree festival. They've got that well and truly sewed up magnificently. I love going and looking at their Christmas trees in the United Church, isn't it, Deb?
Yeah.
They've got that sewn up locally, really. So we thought we'd go for Nativity, which is something I'd done before and Joe had an idea of. And my dear daughter, God bless her, said to us that a lot of the moms were always saying that the local moviola don't do anything for children, film-wise or families. So we had the idea that we'd do something. So if we're showing the Nativity, film Nativity, don't come thinking you're going to see lots of donkeys and baby Jesuses and whatever, because it's a different film. It ends in that way. Not that I want to give it away. And then the festival continues. You can come to church and look at it's all free, but make a donation should you wish to do so, but all free. And Sunday night, we've got the Advent Carol service.
Excellent.
Not quite going darkness to light because we don't tend to, because you can't switch our lights on and off. If you switch them off, you can't switch them on for another 10 minutes. You've got to let them cool down first.
Yeah,
So we have problems with that.
Doing different things, different places is good, I think. It sounds amazing.
It is all going to be a good weekend for everybody. So there we are. Be prepared, be waiting, get ready. Who knows? It might even snow again in Loders, so we can have this year's snowy picture instead of 3 years ago, Chris.
Yeah, but that'll be in 3 years' time. Enjoy the adventure of Advent.
Yeah. So, thank you, colleagues and friends.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah. Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.